You know, I was talking to you about mania because I don't have episodes like stripping off in a mall fountain or like anything like that. Like I don't have the manic episodes other people do where they have hallucinations and
Is it?
yeah, of course.
So is it fair to say you don't go like full psychotic manic psychosis?
No.
Okay, all right.
No. And I remember not knowing, like I read a book when I was like 22 about it, and the author had terrible, almost like schizophrenic episodes.
Was it A Quiet Mind? An Unquiet Mind.
A woman wrote
K.
that?
Jameson Redfield.
Yeah.
I read that in school. It's a wonderful book.
When she talks about that, wow, you're good. When she talks about that, she's seeing her heart and it like filled her vision. And like, because she would talk about her mania episodes exactly. You should see people as giant and shit.
Do you remember the chapter on the rings of Saturn?
No.
So the person we're talking about is a doctorate level professor at Johns Hopkins University who has manic depression. She refers to it as manic depression. It's bipolar disorder.
Yeah.
And she wrote a memoir. Literally, and the book is An Unquiet Mind, a memoir on moods and madness.
Yeah.
And she writes about like
her worst episodes.
She writes about she had full psychotic manic episodes. She attempted to take her life at least once.
Yeah.
And this is a doctorate level, brilliant human being. And then she talks about once everything, medications got figured out and she would see a therapist and getting over the stigma because this was like the 1970s. But anyway, the Rings of Saturn, she basically describes like a manic episode that is intoxicating. It's an entire chapter of this book about why many people who experience manic depression
don't want it to go away.
Yeah, they don't want it to go away. They will deal with the depression because the manias are like a drug.
Mm-hmm.
And what she was saying is it made her feel like she was floating through space and then would end up at Saturn and was like weaving in and out of the rings of and like I remember reading that being like, the way she describes this is intoxicating in and of itself.
Yeah.
And that's not just that chapter. She does that throughout the book.
Yeah.
That when she's describing manic episodes, you could kind of tell that like then she's starting to race with the way she describes it. And you start as the reader are kind of like, wow.
Yeah, it's very gripping.
Very, very beautifully described.
But I didn't know manic episodes got to that extreme until reading that book. I just thought they meant like, but for me, it's almost like this annoying hype beast, or I'm just too confident and I'm fucking getting girls' numbers and being just so. I know that sounds like that's not negative. No, it is. If you're doing things for the wrong reasons and you're like riding this high, it kind of like like it's. But now I know that's the thing. I couldn't recognize it in my 20s and 30s at all when it was coming, and now I know. So I'm aware of it right now because with things going a little better, it's very easy if you've been swinging in the shadow side to swing back into the light side hard and be like, I'm a fucking god. And it's never like that for me. Thank goodness. But I'm aware of it right now. That's why I was asking you, because I'm hyped. I'm excited about shit for the first time. And that can be confused by some people as being manic.
Yeah.
So, it's a really fine line to tread. So I want to make sure I don't get there because I'm excited, but and in a way that's maintainable and not when it gets too outlandish, fucking waving my dick. Yeah, that kind of shit, So, but I'm I think the over under of this that we both kind of, and I've had experience. I'll talk about the Xanax. There'll be a special episode for that with me. Okay. And we can talk about, experiences with addiction at that, but that's a really heavy thing that involves getting off pills and losing your mind, but that's its own story, But I think that the big takeaway from the ride and even us here is like, we're both excited and hopeful, and we don't think it's the result of illnesses. We're just, it's okay to
chemical imbalance.
Yeah, it's okay to be hopeful. And if you have a little extra energy, bro, as long as you're good, you're good.